welcome back to another video. Today we are playing some more Midnight Evil. If you remember from before, we stopped at chapter 5 where things were starting to get more intense. We had Earthlings coming after us that were in the story. So yeah, let's see where this takes us. We also unlocked the Otorion here. We're probably going to check that out after we finish all the chapters. I have no idea how many chapters there are in this game, but we will finish it. Already scared me. I can already tell this isn't going to be good. So as we remember, the Earthlings were being tortured and tried to be killed, but they just couldn't. First we tried drowning it. What in the world? What was that? What? We even had the priest bring us holy water when water from the well didn't work. Jesus Christ. We cut off its head, but as soon as we snipped its neck, the head grew a new body, and the body grew a new head. What? Then we had 2 angry Earthlings in jars. It was immune to every kind of poison that we knew of. What the world? It could heal quickly from any cuts it sustained. We even tried squashing it flat, but it would just puff back up in a matter of a few minutes. We even tried squashing it flat, but it would just puff back up in a matter of a few minutes. Oh my gosh. We even tried squashing it flat, but it would just puff back up in a matter of a few minutes. We even tried squashing it flat, but it would just puff back up in a matter of a few minutes. Thank you. By this point, the Earthlings had infested every corner of the village. Yeah, I hate you too. Parents had to stand guard over their sleeping children. What the heck? Stop! Between the stroke of midnight and the first light of dawn, they became absolutely ravenous. What in the world is that? It looks like a Yeti. It appeared that there was nothing else we could do. No. As much as I hated the thought of disturbing my grandmother, I knew that she was the only one that might be able to give me any insight as how I could get rid of them. I asked Colin to meet me in the secret at her grave. No. I brought grandmother's old spirit board with me, which had a letter of the alphabet on it. I brought grandmother's old spirit board with me, which had every letter of the alphabet on it. I brought grandmother's old spirit board with me, which had every letter of the alphabet on it. Colin and I... there we go. Colin and I placed a small glass cup upside down in the center of the board and waited. The idea was that her spirit would guide the cup to the letters and, doing so, spell out a message to me. I don't like you. I never did. Grandmother, I spoke aloud. I really need your help. Speak to us. Your magic is the only thing that can save these children. We waited, but we were met with only silence. We waited, but we were met with only silence. Please, grandmother, I pleaded. I don't know what to do. I would do anything to save these children. Anything. Just tell me what to do, please. I begged her to answer me. But the glass didn't seem to But the glass didn't move, and no answer would come from the spirit board that night. As we snuck back to the village, we were greeted with the news of 3 more deaths. As we snuck back to the village, we were greeted with the news of 3 more deaths. The widow Adams had fallen asleep guarding her 3 little ones. She always worked so hard, toiling in the fields from dawn until dusk to make sure her family was fed. After she lost her husband to sickness, she was the only caretaker for her children. Now they were gone too, and she was truly alone. As I lay in my bed crying, I felt responsible for what was happening. I hadn't paid much attention as a child when my grandmother tried to teach me the old ways. If I had been a better student, I could have spared my people so much misery and death. Eventually I drifted off to sleep. It was only then that my grandmother finally came to me in a dream and told me what I was to do if I wanted to get rid of the village of Erklings once and for all. It was only then that my grandmother finally came to me in a dream and told me what I must do if I wanted to rid the village of the Erklings once and for all. But their imprisonment would come at a terrible price. Yeah. You look in her nice doorway and her candle goes out. Alright, now to chapter 6. Found myself walking through the dark forest. The damp earth under my bare feet felt cool and mossy. In the distance I could hear drums. A bright light was shining through the trees. I continued cautiously, unsure of what to expect when I entered the clearing. As I came closer, I could see people dancing around the fire. A beautiful woman stood with her hands outstretched toward the sky. It took a moment before I recognized her. Grandmother, is that you? Hello, dear. I heard your call. But I could not come to you. I had to wait until you fell asleep to bring you here. What is this place? I asked, looking around. This is where all our people go when time on Earth ends. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'll be back. In fact, if you really mean to imprison all the Erklings, you will never be allowed to take your place here. My heart sank like a stone. I searched Hogan's Forest for the various herbs I would need to brew 2 potions. I smelled the sweet perfume of the forest air and listened to the songs of the birds and insects of the woods. I smelled the sweet perfume of the forest air and listened to the songs of the birds and insects of the woods, knowing that it would be the last time I would ever get to enjoy them. I smelled the sweet perfume of the forest air and listened to the songs of the birds and insects of the woods, knowing it would be the last time I would ever get to enjoy them. Once I gathered all my ingredients, I found Colin and told him that I knew how to end the Earthling's reign of darkness, but that I would need his help. I didn't tell him what would happen. I didn't tell him what was about. I couldn't find the courage. Not to mention, if he knew what I was about to do, he would do everything in his power to stop me. He was a good boy. I never had the privilege of having children of my own, but if I had, I would have wanted them to be just like Colin O'Brien, brave, honest, and kind. I never had the privilege of having children of my own, but if I had, I would have wanted them to be just like Colin O'Brien, brave, honest, and kind. Really? I never had the privilege of having children of my own, but if I had, I would have wanted them to be just like Colin O'Brien, brave, honest, and kind. Together we walked into the deepest part of Hogan's Forest. The old stone ruins marked a sacred place where our ancestors used to honor the ancient woodland spirits. 12 large rectangular stones stood in a massive circle. I sat my pack down and opened it up. Taking out this very book, I opened it to the first page and laid it in the center of the circle. Next I took out the 2 potions, one black and one white. I gave Colin the small bottle that held the black liquid. You will need to drink this. It will protect you. You will need to drink this. It will protect you.
I knew it!
I'll be back. He frowned for a moment as he inspected the murky potion, but obediently pulled the stopper out of the bottle and drank it down. Ugh, that was awful. I smiled. Well, I don't plan on making you drink it again. I took the white potion, drank it, trying not to think about the fact that I was sealing my fate. Something doesn't feel right, Colin's starting to sob. I'm sorry, my boy, I said sincerely. Truly I am. His eyes rolled back and he fell into a deep, dark, dreamless sleep. When he woke, he found himself bound with a rope and blindfolded. The black potion you see had 3 functions. It was infused with herbs that would make him first and foremost irresistible to every Earthling within 100 miles. Secondly, it contained the blinding agent that would ensnare the creatures and keep them forever trapped in a pocket dimension that could only be opened by using this cursed book. Thirdly, it incapacitated him long enough for me to finish the remaining steps of the spell. Thirdly, it incapacitated him long enough for me to finish the remaining steps of the spell. Thirdly, it incapacitated him long enough for me to finish the remaining steps of the spell. Thirdly, it incapacitated him long enough for me to finish the remaining steps of the spell. You see, while he was unconscious, I was writing this book. As I penned these final words, I can already see my skin turning white. My hair mostly fallen out and long blue hairs growing in. At first I thought Colin was getting bigger, but I see now that I'm slowly shrinking. At first I thought Colin was getting bigger, but now I see I'm slowly shrinking. At first I thought Colin was getting bigger, but I see now that I'm slowly shrinking. My vision is fading. I can hear the others coming. I keep telling Colin not to be afraid, that it will be over soon. After we eat him, we will all be trapped in this book. His screams will be the last thing I hear. Please forgive me, for I can never forgive myself. Nuh-uh. Do we beat it? Do we do it? The sun rose and William Grinkle was safe. He ran to the attic to lock the book up once and for good. The chest was gone. So he ran to the yard and buried it. Once done, he turned and saw a page on the ground. He cautiously approached it. The page was empty. What? Wait. No. You can't. That makes me mad. Hello, William. We are just getting started. Colin. No way. That's insane. Well, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Turn on bell notifications if you haven't already. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.